Hi, everybody. This is Joe from the Clubhouse. I'm a staff member. I'm here today with one of our members, Maureen. Hi, Maureen. How are you
Hi,
today?
pretty good.
Great. So, Maureen and I are going to be discussing what clubhouses are all about. We have an idea that many people are not really sure of what a clubhouse is. Some of our visitors are often very curious. They've never heard of a clubhouse. And it's quite possible that those of you listening here don't know what a clubhouse is either. So we are going to try to explain what some of the core components of a clubhouse are. So, but before we do that, and I'll edit that out.
Yep.
So before we do that, I just want to ask you, Maureen, you've been with us since maybe early summer this year, is that correct?
In January.
Oh, since January.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were with us before we moved into the new facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Visiting.
Okay. And before you came to Seacoast Pathways, did you have other clubhouse experience?
I did. It was a very large one in northern Maine, and people all did a task, and we all met together for goals of wellness, maybe employment,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you can contribute somewhere.
Okay. So those are the three or four things you just mentioned there are very key components to a clubhouse. And so we are going to talk about what you've mentioned, but and other things as well. So, well, I think what we really need to do is get established some of the real basic concepts that govern a clubhouse. First of all, we're a place for anybody who's 18 years or older with a mental health issue or condition. All we require is a referral from a therapist or a licensed clinician stating that you have a diagnosis, and then you can become a member. Now, when you get to the clubhouse, you will discover right away that we're non-clinical, right? So
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't have pool tables and puzzles and things like that.
yeah, that's a great point. They actually use the pool table in discussions as, no, this is not that kind of a clubhouse. You could have a pool table on Saturdays and Sundays when you're not doing the normal business of the clubhouse, but that's a good point. So we're non-clinical. That means we're not doctors, we're not therapists. The staff here are not really trained at all to give therapy or dispense medication. We don't have support groups. So there's no aspect of it being a clinical place. And one of the philosophies behind a clubhouse is we know that you're not your diagnosis. We know that you're something more than that. And we want to reach that something or that someone who has talents that maybe have been marginalized
Right.
by the mental health.
Definitely.
So when a member walks in here, the very first thing we say to them is, don't worry about your diagnosis. Everybody here has a diagnosis, but we're not here to talk about it. And we're not here to work with it, or we're not here to try to change it or even make you feel better. You're going to feel better just by being here doing the activities that we offer.
Right.
So,
It's not that we're ignored that we have a diagnosis.
Right.
It's not the focus, though.
Right.
Because of when I focus on that,
Yeah.
I don't get well. But when I focus on things the Clubhouse does, I get away from that diagnosis a little bit.
You wrote something like that for, I think, the newsletter, that's what you like about the Clubhouse. You can forget about your mental health issue.
Yes.
And you can get on with things, and you can make friends, and you can do things and feel better. And that is recovery in and of itself. So we don't go the route of doctors, therapists, support, medications. All those things are important in your life, but we don't do that. We add something to the recovery mix, and that is just exactly how you explained it. Another key component of a clubhouse is that staff and members are on equal footing. So there's no hierarchy of authority, and it also means that members help run the clubhouse.
Right.
So can you give the audience a few things you've done that have contributed to running the clubhouse?
I've done from computer work where I am really talented around forms and stuff to basic things like, all right, I'm going to clean all the computers today because I'm just not up to anything else.
Right.
So, and there's the cooking and other activities that just help you grow.
Yeah. So you just mentioned a few things there. You've worked in the business unit, filling out forms for us, ordering products. You do inventory.
Yeah.
You created some wish lists for our newsletter, things like that. You've actually maybe helped out in the kitchen a few times, and that's kind of a good snapshot of the work that people do. It could be on a computer, it could be washing dishes, it could be sweeping the floor, it could be answering the phone. There are all kinds of things. But back to the point here, that's running the clubhouse. And so we ask every member to work equally with staff to run the clubhouse. So if you come in and you're a member, you're going to find out soon that it's not a place where things are done for you. We want to engage you to help make this clubhouse work. Okay.
And it's not just staff that's engaging. When I came in as a guest for about a month, everybody that was here, it didn't have to be staff to engage me. Everybody made me feel welcome, and everybody helped me get involved.
Great. That's really good to hear. That's a good point because members are expected to reach out to other members and help them along. It's kind of the peer support aspect of the clubhouse. And then one other thing before we go into some of the kind of the framework of a clubhouse is everything is voluntary. And I remember in my training wondering why that's so important. And the answer was so simple and so honest that I had kind of overlooked that kind of an answer. Basically, when you have a mental health problem and you've been hospitalized, nothing is voluntary for you. You've lost control of a lot of different things in your life.
Yeah.
You're not able to make decisions. People are making decisions for you. You have to listen to what doctors tell you to do, which is good. But the point is, you're kind of out of control.
Everything's happening to you versus with you.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So here, the whole idea of it being voluntary is to empower you.
Yeah.
We want you to get your life back, so we don't want you to come in and sort of take orders from us or, bow down to us in any way. It's your clubhouse. If you want to do something that feels good for you in the moment, you can do it. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it.
And nothing's too little. I mean, you can, if all you do is put plates on a table, nothing is too little, because if you go away feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, we've had members come in at the beginning and they just don't feel like doing much of anything. But over time, they gradually get more involved. And that happens, I think, when they make friends with members and feel encouraged and work with others. Working side by side is another really important philosophy here. So good. So that takes care of some of the real basic concepts of a clubhouse. But in my training book here, there are, boy, this brings back memories. There are 8 basic components of a clubhouse. And I don't want to spend too much time on each one, but I think we can give each one kind of a good snapshot. The whole structure of a clubhouse is centered around the work-ordered day. So you've already heard me and Maureen talk about things like computer work, doing inventory, answering phones, maybe writing thank you notes, whatever it takes to run a clubhouse. That's really the key concept of what we do here for the full day, right?
Right.
It's called a work-ordered day.
But as you were saying, like if you did the phone, you can sign up for just a half hour or an hour.
Right.
You don't say, there's no obligation to do something for the entire day.
That's what some new members think. They think they're coming to a place where they're going to have to work all day.
Right.
They don't. They don't have to. You're right. It's a really good point. You can answer the phone and take messages for a half hour, and you're tired of that, you can say, hey, I think I'll go see what's cooking in the kitchen and help out there, right? Or I think I'll go back into the media unit and see if Joe or Adam or Scott are doing a podcast. Maybe I can help, with the microphone levels, that sort of thing. So you're absolutely right. It's structured, but it's not structured that way.
Right.
In other words, we have things for members to do, but they control how much time, how much work they do, and that's all part of that voluntary basis. And the whole point of the work order day is to mirror the real work world, because so many members, when they come into a clubhouse, they are not working, they're not able to work, and so this place can become a place where you get back into the idea of work, but you're not really under the authority of a boss.
Right.
You have control over your time. You have control over what you do. And the whole idea is to feel better about being in a place where work is going on and finding those skills. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of members who come in here, not only do they recover skills that they used to have, they discovered new skills.
Yes, definitely.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So it can be kind of a real place of discovery, not just recovery,
right?
Discovery about what you're able to do. So,
I know at first the idea of work panicked me, and I felt like I was being smothered. Yeah. So just doing one task and then another was extremely helpful, because now I'm doing a few hours a week at employment.
Yeah, you sort of made that leap from coming in here and being involved in any way you want to now you've got something going on in the employment situation, right? Which is awesome. And that brings us to the next one. We do have employment programs here. They're pretty detailed, and we don't have time to go into them. But I think the way to describe it is that we help any member try to get back into the world of work in any way they want. It might even be just volunteer work. But we can also help members with getting ready for a new job. Scott has put together a whole employment program here that covers everything, really: writing resumes, cover letters, doing job searches, going out into the community and talking to potential employers. But the hallmark of our program is what is called transitional employment. And it's kind of hard to explain it in just a few sentences, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
So let's say the owner of a CVS is interested in hiring. We go in there and we say, well, we have members here who are working to get better. They do have mental health problems, but they've had a good past, they've been working in the past. And if you're willing, would you hire us, the Clubhouse, to fill a job?
Right.
See, so then that takes the burden off any member who thinks, oh, I've got a job.
Right.
Too much pressure.
Right.
Instead, he's really hiring Seacoast Pathways. And then we say, we'll provide you a worker for that job.
Yep.
And it might be somebody different. The idea, though, is that somebody steps into that job for about 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months, and it's only about 15 hours a week. It's a very part-time job. Yeah. And if that person can't come in one day because they're depressed or anxious or sick, whatever, someone else will come in and fill in.
Well, also, a lot of people, when they think employment, they think, I can't lose my Medicare. I can't lose, So what's neat is that Scott can hook them up with a benefit analysis person that can go over that, so exactly. There's no unknowns. You have the answer. Right. If you work this happens. If you don't.
Right. So those are really good points. The member does get paid for doing the work, but we have learned over and over and over again from employment specialists that you can still work up to a certain amount of time. In fact, you actually maximize how much you make. Some people think as soon as I sign on the dotted line that I have a job, I'm going to lose all my benefits. No, that's not going to happen, because you still have your classification of disability.
Right.
And we would make sure that you're not working so much that it would cut into your benefits. You're able to work a certain amount and augment your benefits with your salary,
Definitely.
and you can improve your standard of living.
Yeah.
Right. So
there are a lot of benefits. We can't all do them right now, but there are a lot of benefits.
That's good to know. All right. So now another thing that clubhouses are known for is having evening, weekend, and holiday programs. We're open every holiday. For instance, we're open Christmas Day.
Wow.
Shortened hours, but we're open Christmas Day, New Year's Day, all the holidays, July, Labor Day, July 4th. We have barbecues in the summertime. And the whole idea behind that is it's that isolation thing.
Right.
We love it when members come in during the normal Monday through Friday days, but we don't want them to be alone on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
Some members don't have
right.
the family support systems.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we always try to make sure that we're open on holidays. And then some of the activities we've been doing on the weekends lately, we've been having Patriot game watch days.
Yeah.
On Sundays, we have a big screen TV.
Yeah. That's the one area where we go over. The work day is usually about the work day.
Right.
But when you do activities at night or on the weekend, this is a chance to do a recreational thing.
Exactly. That's part of recovery. I remember going to Haverhill Clubhouse and one of the members giving us a tour, and he said, there's no one road to recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Your road to recovery might be through socialization with others, just getting to know people, playing pool with them, which you can do on a weekend, right? So socialization is every bit as important. It's not just downtime. It's a way to enrich your life, make friends, find new activities. And then we have evening programs. We've done a few of those, films. We hope to have some maybe some musical programs here at night. So that's the whole thing about the social program. It's part of the recovery. Community support. All right, it says in my training book, people living with mental illness often require a variety of social and medical services. Through the workday at the clubhouse, members are given help accessing the best quality services in their community. Help is given to members in acquiring and keeping affordable and dignified housing, good mental health, and general medical services, government disability benefits, and any other services that they may need. So we already talked about how we counsel our members about their benefits.
Right. But part of that, I hear, is that you're looking at that lower hierarchy of needs. Does a person have a house? Does a person have water? Do they have food? Do they have clothing?
Right.
Because how can a person go out and succeed when they don't even know where the next meal's coming? Or, so it's nice that some of that is recognized as important to look at.
Right. So we're the kind of place where somebody could come in and say, I need to buy a car because I need a car to get to work. Well, you know what? We'll sit down with you and help you find a car. We'll try to find if you can get a loan. We'll try to figure out what the options are. Can you buy would an old junker work okay? Or, do you have a little more money to work with? Or somebody might just come in and say, I really have to get out of my apartment. It's noisy. It's not good for my mental health. I'll sit down with a computer and get you going. We'll get you started. We have a lot of databases here. We have an information table with all kinds of brochures for organizations that might help with low-cost clothing, food. So it's a really good point. It's how did you describe that? Lower.
It's the hierarchy of needs, and that is the foundation.
The basics.
It's Maslow's needs, and that's the basis. Like you can't even get to friends, or you can't get to safety because you don't have.
Right. Yeah. So I personally have helped 2 members move physically. Showed up at their apartment. Yeah. Got a couple of others to help, a couple of other members, and help move them. We'll do anything to help improve those necessities.
Right.
You can't really do much with your life until you've got those basic necessities under control, and that's how we can help you. So, reach out. All right. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting. We have what is called reach out, but then we also have what is called outreach. So reach out is when we call members. Do you want to explain why we call members?
Sometimes someone just needs to hear that, everybody wants to see them, and sometimes though it's more of helping. Why can't they come? Is there something getting in the way, and can we help that so that they can come?
Right, right. That's a great observation. So usually after morning meeting, somebody goes to the desk and picks up the phone and starts calling members who haven't been in here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. They might say, "Are you doing okay?"
Right.
And we often hear things like, "Oh, my car's broken down. I can't come in." Well, all right. Hey, Bill, can you go pick up Debbie?
Right.
Oh, good. Go get her. I mean, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that there are no barriers, and it also helps us know if they've had a setback mentally,
Right.
or even physically, because we want to be able to write them a card,
Definitely.
a get well card. That helps. The idea is to never let them forget that they're always welcome here. They can come back if they're having a bad time. Not to worry. We don't have any mandatory attendance or anything like that. You're not absent.
No,
or anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we want them to know that they matter. Each person matters,
Absolutely.
and each person has value.
That's a really great observation. You're really good at this. You really are. Okay, so we also then have what is called outreach. Okay, so outreach is a little different. It's not really calling members. It might be calling a business in the community, or another organization, or it might be working with the media. Outreach. We're outreaching so that we become a better presence in the community. And that's going to be one of our goals this next year, 2020, is how do we become better recognized in the community? And that we do that through outreach by visiting. Today, we're going over to the Portsmouth Hospital and visiting with with patients, and hopefully they'll become interested in becoming a member at Seacoast Pathways. But it could also be just calling up the local radio station and saying, could you put in a public service announcement for us?
Right.
Or can we put a press release in the community paper? Or tomorrow we're having Crossroads, a homeless shelter, come and visit us to learn more about us. So that's all considered outreach. Okay, so we're actually getting to the end of the list here. Education. Tell us a little bit about how we can help a member with, furthering their education.
Well, one, if you go back to Voc Rehab is on site, they might be able to fund some classes. Mm-hmm. But education sometimes is just watching one person do a task they've never done and get hands-on education.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a spectrum to that. I mean, when most people hear the word education, they're probably thinking of a brick and mortar building, classrooms, desks, a teacher. But you're right. It all depends on where you are. We've had members come in for the first time, and because of their history of mental health setbacks, maybe they haven't really learned how to make a PowerPoint presentation, right? Maybe they need help with keyboarding. Well, we can help with that. We can either help people, we bring in the knowledge within the clubhouse.
Right.
Lots of people here know how to make a PowerPoint. Or we'll go out to the community and do outreach and find an instructor who will help with that. So it could be just as simple as, I just need to learn a few basic computer skills and then I think I can get a job, right? Mm-hmm. But it could also be, I want to go back to school. I want to get my diploma. I want to get a degree. I want to go to a tech school and get a certificate. Or maybe just for enrichment, like an art class or, writing or any kind of a skill that would help lead to a job. So education is really important here. Housing, we mentioned that. We will help any member not only find housing, but move and also go through the paperwork. A lot of that Section 8 stuff is really long and drawn out. And sometimes members just need support because they're kind of suffering sometimes when they're not in the right place.
Right.
Or they're homeless. They're going to a shelter at night, and the clubhouse is the only place where they can just come in and, everything's kind of calm and quiet. So we're definitely about that. And then here's the last one on the list. It goes back to what I said earlier when I said staff and members are on equal footing. all the decision-making and governance of a clubhouse is shared equally among every person in the clubhouse, whether it's staff or member or the executive director. The executive director will probably have to make some decisions that nobody else can make for bureaucratic reasons maybe, or financial reasons.
However, she is informed by everybody.
That's true. She's always going to get input from members and staff as to any decision she makes. We have a policy meeting every month where members and staff get together, and we might talk about something as minor as should we turn the heat up to 71 on winter days, and we might get into some pretty big debates about that, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be more about things like, is our orientation program working well enough so that a new member feels comfortable? But everybody has a say in it. Nobody is running it.
Correct.
Nobody's calling the shots. It's all done by consensus. In the end, we have a vote,
Right.
and we kind of have to live with the decision. But everybody has had an opportunity to say, I don't like that idea, or I think we should do it this way, or could we possibly do it that way? And that's a real hallmark. That doesn't happen in a normal job.
No, it doesn't.
Usually. Sometimes it does, but and that again is all part of that empowerment key. We want members to feel that they matter, that their opinions are valued, right? That they have a stake in the clubhouse.
Definitely.
It's their place.
Yeah.
And that is a very important part of recovery. So all of these things, work order day, employment, holiday, evening, and weekend programs, community support, reach out and outreach, education, housing, and decision-making and governance, they all have therapeutic value, but without the clinical piece.
Right.
It's
It's
not
more around
clinical.
wellness,
It's wellness,
and getting back on your feet.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
And then I would be remiss, as we get to the end here, Maureen, we would be remiss to not mention the art teacher, the music teacher.
Yes, we have a lot of strong.
Mindy, Jenna, you know who you are. These are people who have come into the community and offered their professional expertise in enrichment, like music and art.
Right.
We also offer creative writing. We've also enlisted occupational therapist interns from the University of New Hampshire who have come in and shown members how to organize their lives better, or how to do a task that they've never been able to do, or just, as you say, wellness.
Right.
It's just that wellness. How do you make your life easier, better, happier, healthier? So,
and these specialists don't push. Like if you don't want to be part of whatever they're doing,
that's true.
You can step aside.
Right.
They are excellent. They're specialists, but you still have a right to decline.
Yeah. So when the art teacher comes in, some members will immediately gravitate towards Mindy. What are we doing today, right? And other members will say, I'm just not interested in doing art today. I think I'll go back into the office and do some cleaning, or wipe down the computers, or maybe I'll see if somebody needs help, making a PowerPoint or something.
Right.
So really, in closing, the way to think of a clubhouse is there is a structure, but it's not the kind of structure that you have to adhere to. It's there that you can take advantage of.
Correct.
And that seems to have been the magic of clubhouses. There are over 300 clubhouses in the world. Just look one up. You might want to look up the ICCD Clubhouse International website. They're kind of the overarching clearinghouse for all clubhouses. They have a lot of articles on how clubhouses work, how they operate, what the core philosophies are. And so if you are in need of a clubhouse, if you know of somebody in need of a clubhouse, go to that website. If you're in the Portsmouth, Seacoast, New Hampshire area, I know you're a Mainer. You're right over the border. You're welcome here. You're welcome, right? That's okay. I love Maine. I go there all the time. And then we have people, I guess we don't have anybody from Massachusetts, but we certainly could, because we're only about 18 miles from the border.
Right.
So if you're in the Seacoast area of New Hampshire, 603-812-9031. Give us a call. Our website is www.seacoastpathways.org. We also have a Facebook page. And our podcasts here are, you can listen to us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Instagram. We post them on Facebook. And so, Maureen, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks for being with us today. You did a great job on your very first podcast.
Yes, very first.
Okay, well, we'll see you all later, folks. Thanks.